Hi, you're listening to Oh Crap with Jamie. This is a podcast for parents working hard to break the cycles while dropping the F-bomb a lot. I'm your host, Jamie Glowacki, and I am the author of Oh Crap Potty Training and Oh Crap I Have a Toddler. And I am so happy you're here.
Hey, you guys. Welcome. Okay, so before we begin, I want to let you know that I'm recording early morning, and what that means is my rooster hasn't even started crowing yet, so the chickens might be a little disruptive, this podcast. I'm going to try, though, because, oh my goodness, I have recorded this particular podcast. This is the 7th time I've recorded. When I sit down to do a podcast, sometimes I do them on the fly, and sometimes I write them out because there's so much information. I don't want to miss things. And sometimes I try to do it on the fly, and then I realize I just really need to write it down. And this particular topic has so many tendrils to it and so many offshoots that I kept biting off more than I could chew. And so literally 7 hours have gone into this podcast. And I kept trying to pare it down because I was like, you're biting off more than you can chew. You're trying to say too many things. And this happens. I used to recognize that when blogs were really popular and I had a blog is, if a blog wouldn't come easily to me, it was because I was trying to take on too much. And so the topic today is time and burnout and where's the village? And this is a whole thing. What I'm doing is I'm going to do a series this summer on these topics because two things. Number one, I am writing another book about it, and I am I'm reading so many books on the topic, research, talking to people in person, working with clients on this stuff. And it's very exciting. And I want to start sharing stuff on Instagram and doing a series on Instagram. The problem with Instagram is you get a set amount of time. You do get 3 minutes if you want to do a talking reel, but 3 minutes is never enough to cover everything. And there's always somebody who says, there's no nuance here, or that's not true, or there's so many comebacks. And so I want to be able to have a nice concrete series that I can point people to for the nuance, for the long form conversation. And I think summertime is the best time to do this because, like I said in the slow summer episode, I think summer is just a better time to deal with things like scheduling and cultivating a village, right? Because there's more people outside. You're generally happier in the summer, especially those of us who have a hardcore winter. It's just harder. It's harder in the winter. And of course, this varies depending on where you live. Of course, July and August in Texas is going to be 195 degrees outside. So, wherever your season is the best is, the brightest days, the best weather, more people are outside. This is the better time when we start to think about cultivating the village. I'm going to be speaking largely to moms because that's what I see in my work. And I do want to talk about dads in just a second. This is largely for those of you who are parenting children under the age of 6. This is the neediest part of parenting. This is the most brutal part of parenting. All of parenting is hard for various reasons, but 0 to 6, your child physically needs you more. They emotionally need you more, and they're just learning. So everything is a learning curve, everything. 6 to 12, you get to garden, right? My whole premise of govern, garden, guide, but you get a breather. You're not wiping asses anymore. You don't have to teach every single lesson. It's a more enjoyable time. There are certainly hard parts to it, but when you do the heavy lifting in 0 to 6, 6 to 12 becomes a little easier. They can get up and maybe even cook themselves a little breakfast or at least pour a bowl of cereal, right? You get a breather. You get a little more time to yourself. They've figured some things out. They also, for most people, start school. And if you're not homeschooling, that gives you some more time. That gives you a little break knowing they're covered, and then 12 to 18, of course, that's challenging in its own ways. But again, it's just not as needy in so many areas. Let's talk a minute about, I always hear about mom burnout, and I largely work with moms, so that's where I see it. But I want to talk about dads because dads do get burned out. And I know there are dads who listen to this podcast. And let's look at what burnout looks like for dads, because I think burnout for dads looks a lot different. And culturally speaking, moms have more societal permission to express themselves, express their frustration, not to people without kids, because, oh, good Lord, people will say, well, you knew what you were getting into, shut up. But dads burn out too. And I think this is really telling because I think I see personally and professionally a lot of people struggle with their husband or male partner. And they struggle with what I'm about to tell you, and that these are actually signs of burnout. So again, men are not, societally speaking and socially, men are not able often to express emotional exhaustion, right? And I want to take 1 second here because I'm going to do a whole nother podcast on this and mental load and dads and splitting the division of labor. But I have to point out that we are in a really interesting place in history, okay? Because most of our men right now who are dads were raised by boomers. Boomers were raised by Depression era. And so these guys are on new territory. I mean, we all are in some ways. We're like charting a whole new map for parenting, but a lot of their inherent behavior, remember, a lot of things are learned in 0 to 6, and how they were parented. And so the men who are stepping into full-time parenting or really working on the division of labor, and that may be you, dad, the dads who are listening to this podcast, that is awesome. But I do think we have to grant a little grace in understanding that this is completely uncharted territory. So a man who was raised to not express his feelings can't on a dime just express their feelings. And so there is some grace that I see is needed in this area, okay? And knowing that that a lot of men don't think it's okay to express burnout, to express exhaustion. Instead, they'll have behaviors, right? And some of this is like overworking, because men tend to be performance driven. Things you might hear, things like, oh my God, work is just crazy right now. I just need some space. I don't feel like myself lately. They'll detach. Guess what one of the biggest signs of detachment is? Long bathroom breaks. How often do we, I don't know, I hear this kind of uniformly, is guys will spend so much time in the bathroom, right? They'll take on extra hours at work and they may zone out with devices or video games. Dads are not, I used to think that dads were more chill, right? Just because I hear this a lot, like, don't worry about it. They're not as worried about things as we as moms tend to be. But they also carry less of the invisible labor. We know that, and I would be remiss in not saying that. And again, if you are listening to this, dads, I'm not talking to you. Okay, you're listening to a podcast about parenting. There are many, many men that I work with, though, who this is completely foreign to them, okay? And I work with moms who can't even have a conversation with their husband. So I'm talking to moms about this particular issue, okay? So please don't take offense. If you're doing a fair division of labor, thank you. But many people are not there. So let's just very quickly go over the division of labor. Again, I'll do a whole nother podcast dissecting this fully, but moms often know the next shoe size for the kids, the next dental appointment. They remember birthday parties. They remember gifts. They remember not only their own kids' allergies, but other kids' allergies, planning the meals, cleaning up emotional meltdowns, and anticipating who needs socks next month, right? That's the cognitive load, okay? It's no matter what, it still skews more heavily, generally speaking, towards moms. Moms, when they burn out, it's consuming, it's identity shaking, and it tends to be loud, okay? Dad burnout tends to be quiet, isolated, and again, performance driven. If a dad thinks he's not doing well at work and he's not doing well at home, he might have the sense of, where do I even belong? He might be floating identity-wise. And what will happen is he may overwork to compensate. Maybe he doesn't feel like he's doing well at home. And we all know that moms can be guilty of like, I need help, but not like that. Fold the laundry. Oh, don't do the towels that way. Fold the, put the dishes in the dishwasher. Like we tend to be more particular. So that's something we have to be on the lookout for. But here's the thing. Dads do burn out, but societally they get more exit ramps than moms, right? Because they get more space to recover. Very often the division of labor for moms and dads is dads are doing kind of solo things, maybe yard work or mowing the lawn or taking the car for an oil change. I can argue that these could be done with your child. But oftentimes moms are going to the grocery store with the kids, right? So they get more space. If you're a stay-at-home mom and dad is the sole financial provider, they get to go to work and talk to grownups, and you're at home, dealing with big feelings, right? They get more grace for doing the basics. We know this, right? This is well known, and I know so many women get irked by it, right? Your dad can take a child to the park and everybody's like, oh my God, you're such a good dad. You take your kid to the park and you're going to be criticized on what snacks you brought and you're letting your kid go up the slide, right? So dads societally are allowed to do just the basics and they're congratulated on it. And there is less pressure, of course, to be super dad, PTA dad, Pinterest dad, right? There's just less pressure. And again, please don't take offense to this if you are doing these things. Yay, I'm very happy. But please understand that culturally, this is still happening. So that's how dads look when they burn out. And I think this is important because they can be suffering, but it looks like detachment, which fuels further mom burnout. He's not helping enough. It fuels like a dad not taking part as much as moms need them to. The next thing I want to say is that moms are hanging by a thread right now. I see this personally and professionally. It's funny because I'm talking to people and saying, hey, I'm working on this new book. Hey, what's going on? Or I just had a friend like verbally vomit on a 12-minute voice note the other day because she was like, you don't understand my life. This is my life, and like laid out her schedule. And I felt so bad as she was talking to me. And I hear this a lot. I hear this from clients. I hear this from friends. This packed schedule. And the thought that kept occurring to me is, okay, we can't even deal with burnout because this is time. This is scheduling, right? I cannot give you more time. I can't even get to the things I want to talk about, the tips and tricks and all the things I can unpack about burnout. If the burnout we're talking about is scheduling and time, because I cannot give you more hours in the day, and I cannot change your schedule. Only you can. Okay. And if you're balls to the walls, that is probably the basis of your burnout. And so today I want to explore that. And I want to start with the idea of, time may be causing your burnout, and burnout may be why you can't cultivate the village and cultivate the community. And let me do a tiny tangent here. I'm kind of disliking the word village the more I dig into this, okay? Because a lot of the books, a lot of the research being done on why women today don't have a village, why we don't have help, is a large comparison to indigenous cultures or literally hunter-gatherer tribes, right? So I love Hunt, Gather, Parent. That is one of my favorite parenting books. I think there's solid gold lessons on every page. Every time I read it, I'm like, holy shit, this book is so good. However, we can't discount that the author had to go to Mayan culture. She had to go to people who literally have villages in the way we vision it, which is not necessarily huts, but very tight living, right? Where there's almost common space, where kids are kind of able to go in and out of each other's houses, where largely the women are doing hearthkeeping. They are at home. They're not like working in a corporate environment. They might have village duties, but they're not the same. And so I think that's doing us harm in comparing that, like a lot of the work on villages is evolutionarily where we've screwed up, which is great in theory. But what I look at is I'm looking at how things changed even from last generation, from Depression era to boomers to Gen X to millennials. Okay. And again, I use those terms just because they're easier that way to clump generations like that. So I really think it's important that we start looking at it as cultivating community, because the village in this historic way, you didn't have to work at it. It was there. It was inherent. It was part of their society, right? And so I think we can't look to that, right? Because now we have to do some work. We have to cultivate. We have to have an active reciprocal nature in finding and cultivating our own village, our own community. And so I think that is a large part of the problem, because every single person I talk to has this unspoken, unfleshed out vision of the village just showing up and doing the work and offering help, with none of the negatives, with none of what that means, and with none of the reciprocal action. And this is several podcasts, but I just feel like it's important to mention that, because we literally don't have villages anymore. And so I'm kind of like leaning towards not even loving that word. It's good because it's so ubiquitous. We know what it means. But the truth is, it's cultivating community. All right. And what happened is, most recently in the last, I'd say 6 weeks, since this like book idea has really been germinating, and I've really, really, really dug into it, and listening to people lay out all they do in a day and all they're responsible for. And I keep finding myself saying, I can't give you more time, and you can't have it all. And that's like a loaded phrase, I think. I was born in 1968. I don't know what wave of feminism hit, but the 70s and 80s were rife. We had Gloria Steinem. We had this like, you can have it all. Yes, you can work. We also started to have rampant rates of divorce. Prior to that, people stuck it out, not always for the best. I know my parents were the first in our large community to get divorced. We were kind of pariahs it was considered awful, and terrible for children. And this was awful, a broken home, these kinds of things that we know now, like, yeah, you get out of a shitty marriage if it's not serving your kids to stay in one. However, so more moms hit the workforce because they had to earn income. And so this have it all, I think, has always historically been put into place regarding having a career and being a present mom. And of course, it fell to moms. And then more recently, we've been like, you can't have it all. We can't have it all. And there's huge debates that, about, women who work outside the home as opposed to being home, whatever. I think because of the economy, we often are dealing with two income households, of course. And so the having it all is not about having a career and being a mom. And again, I'm going to keep saying mom from now on, because so much of this is related to mom and mom burnout. But dads, listen and take in what you need. And if you don't need it, that's okay. Having it all, it struck me like just when my friend left this like 12-minute verbal vomit, I was like, oh my God. Yeah, you can't have it all. You can't have all of the extras. And so I want to run down a list, because I think you probably don't even realize how much you're doing because you're so caught up in it. And this is the modern having it all. Okay. Number one, full days of work. And this is stay-at-home mom and working mom. And don't worry, I'm going to kind of separate those out because they're two different challenges, both equally challenging. You might have a full day of work where you're expected to manage people, probably in a leadership position at this point in your career, tight schedules. Don't bear in mind, we are now in a different level of work, especially in corporate, because now you are expected often to attend to emails, text, Slack, urgent calls after work hours. That used to never be before the internet. So right there, we're on uneven ground from the last generation. Okay. So you got a full day and lots to handle. Now you're also expected to be a whole person, right? You're expected to keep an identity, work out, make sure you get your protein, right? Get some alone time. And don't forget, time with your friends is really important. You're expected to get good sleep for you and your children, have nutritious meals, and cook all the time. Lots of big play. You got to get that big play in and have free, unstructured time for your kids. Now, on top of that, you also need organized sports, adult-led activities, enrichment. Don't forget to enrich your child. Yes. There's household management that everyone has to do, yard work, repairs, cleaning, deep cleaning, tidying. On top of that, you have birthday parties, both giving and going. These are now expected to be themed with goodie bags. These are expected, you're expected to know everybody's allergies and accommodate. On top of that, you have regular doctor appointment, dentist appointments, therapies. If you have special needs, you now have to add on all of those therapies as well as OT, physical therapy, speech, that kind of thing. You may have pets. Pets require caring for. They get sick. They have needs just like children, and they can have behavior problems. A lot of us are dealing with aging parents, dying parents. On top of that, you now have clothes, products, and you need to do research on these, right? Maybe your child has sensory needs. You have to look up recalls. You can't just go buy a car seat. Are you nuts? You have to look up recalls. This takes hours. All while staying regulated yourself, working on your own shit. You're dealing with big feelings. Now you have to model how to deal with big feelings to your little kid who is still brand new to the world. And on top of that, you probably decided to have more kids and you thought your children would play together nicely, but instead you have WWE in your house every day. So you have to deal with that. And that is not even counting the fucking shit life throws at you in the form of flat tires, car accidents, crack in your windshield, a roof that collapses, frozen pipes, kids getting sick, you getting sick. It is a lot. That is the modern all, okay? It's a lot. Are you crying right now? Because I am. All right. So here's what I want to talk about today. Let's go back to the grace that dads get. They get grace for doing the basics. I am begging you, imploring you, mom, let's go back to the basics, okay? And you may not get a societal gold star. You may have to give society a big fat middle finger because it's never going to stop. It's social media. It's the internet. It's too much information. There are too many voices in the parenting pot, and everybody's got a fucking opinion now, and social media has given people the illusion that their opinion counts, and it doesn't. And so what I want to do is I want to go through things and see how we can go back to basics, because I think we've gotten it really twisted. And again, from the internet, this social media, everybody weighing in, and we've gotten needs versus wants really twisted. A lot of that list, we think we should be doing, we think we have to be doing. And so that gets added to our list of just the basics. I want to introduce a notion called what shit sandwich do you want to eat? And this is by a prolific blogger and writer named Mark Manson. I love his stuff. I love his earlier stuff. He's the author of The Subtle Art of Unfucking Yourself. And actually, I loved all his stuff leading up to that book. I thought the book was okay, but he has written a lot of essays and I love them. And one is the theme of what shit sandwich do you want to eat? And if you just Google that with Mark Manson, you'll pull up a lot of information. And it's the notion of we all eat a shit sandwich. And it's which one do you want to choose? Because like Thomas Sowell says, there are no choices, there are only compromises. So for every choice you make, there is a negative. Yes, there is a downside to it in most instances, especially when we're talking about burnt out parents in the 0 to 6 range, 0 to 6 years parent range. And what I'm finding is that nobody wants to eat a shit sandwich. And I'm finding a very almost childish look at, no, I can't give that up. I can't give that up. And I can't give that up. These all have to happen. I want things to be like this. And so we have to pull away from that, right? Because you can't always get what you want, right? Let's quote some Mick Jagger. You can't, because you're killing yourself. And I am not being hyperbolic here. We are killing ourselves in parenting. The Surgeon General warned that pressured parenting is ruining our mental health, and it's also ruining our physical health. And it's contributing to a lot of the things that are happening with our kids, these volatile behaviors, because they're being rushed. They're not having enough connection time. They're not having enough downtime. But really, that's almost secondary. That's a secondary bad thing, but it's also a secondary bonus when we shore up what's happening for us. And we cannot have all the modern things. Okay. I want to go through the list that I just gave you, that exhaustive list. And I want to go through and let's really pull them apart and look at what are true needs and what are wants. And what I want to do is look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay. So you can look that up too. It's a triangle. And at the base are fresh air, breathing, sleep, food, shelter, and water. Okay. Those are your basic needs. Then the next thing is, things like health, personal, money, enough money to live. I hold on. I have the whole thing written down here. I have a little chart. It's a cool little chart if you want to look it up, if you're unfamiliar with it. Safety. So employment, having property, family, social stability, that kind of thing. The next thing up is love and belonging. And that's friendship, family, intimacy, sense of connection. Now, I appreciate this hierarchy of needs. But he's really talking about people, overall and again, evolutionarily, right? So of course, the first thing we needed was shelter. Most of us have shelter. But if you don't have shelter, you need to secure shelter before anything else can happen. But I would actually put the third one, love and belonging, I would put that as a basic modern need, right? We need that sense of community, which is why this all ties so closely into Where's the Village? Because if men don't have men, if women don't have women, and maybe you can have couple friends as well, if we don't have that sense of belonging and we're trying to exist in just the nuclear family, we're screwed, man. We're just screwed. We need that. We need the pressure valve to be released. And again, couple friends are great. Friends who don't have kids are wonderful, but moms need other moms. Dads need other dads, and they need this to process information, because moms, we process information differently, and men, you process information differently. And a large part of marital problems and parenting problems are because of this, because we don't process the same way. And, it's an old trope. Like when you have a party, the men end up kind of talking to each other and the women end up in the kitchen. And I don't think that's a bad thing, because women, we're external processors. We need to bitch. We need to find out more information. We need to unload. And men are much more, again, performance driven, much more goal oriented, but they also need permission from other men to express how they express. And I have found in groups of men, this largely begins with shit talking, with a lot of shit talking. And then somebody be like, no, but for real, I'm really feeling, I'm really kind of depressed, or I'm really struggling with this. And so this is a vital part of modern living, because pretty much we all have Maslow's hierarchy of needs, bottom rung, all set. But I also want to go back to, when you are in these really hard years, it's okay to just keep your kids alive. It's okay to just do the basics. And that's where I think we've gotten it so twisted. One of the things I keep seeing is, as soon as your child gets past 2, maybe they start to 3, when they can start to really speak and start to express themselves, and then we get to 4 and 5, parents get a jump on on everything. You think you have to start everything right now. Again, enrichment, all these things, play date, socialization, all these things that go on, right? You don't. You have a long time to do that. You still have 6 to 12, and that is when it's more developmentally appropriate. Under 6 years old, we're really still looking at those basic things. We're still governing, right? We're still structure and rules and routine and close to home. That's the most important thing. So let's go through our list, because I think it's really important. The number one thing, good sleep. I think that is something that is a need. That isn't a want. That's not something that should be tossed aside. Certainly there will be weddings, there will be barbecues, there will be vacations, there will be time when good sleep gets back burnered. But I see a lot of people who in this like 3 to 6 year old range, they're like, oh yeah, they have a class, they have a practice, they have this, I don't get home till 6. So, they have to stay up till, 10. I work with a large amount of toddlers who are going to sleep at 10 and waking up to get out of the house to go to daycare. So this is a huge place where what shit sandwich do you want to eat? But this isn't even a want, I think, right? It sucks if you both work outside the home and nobody's getting home until 6 or 6:30. You are on limited time. You can't keep your toddler up. You have to like manage all the things pretty fast so they can still get good sleep. And this to me is a non-negotiable, because keeping them up for connection isn't valuable at this time, because they're going to lose sleep and you're going to lose sleep and precious time for you to decompress. So that is a huge place. And I think, when we look at what shit sandwich do you have to eat, I think a really good example for you to understand is sleep. So I am a huge proponent for parents trying to get to bed as early as they can. And one of the biggest hacks I have is going to bed when your child goes to bed at least once or twice a week. And it is astounding how much this recharges your battery. This is a lifesaver. I learned this as a single mom with an early riser. I worked outside the home, so I am not foreign to this clusterfuck. And I had to give Pascal dinner in the tub sometimes. I had to, because I had to truncate everything so that we could get to story, so that he could get to bed. He went to bed at 6:30. So like everything was crunched. But if he didn't go to bed at 6:30, he was a relentless early riser. There was nothing. He was not sleeping past 5:30. So, and often it was more like 5. So I knew I had to make up my time somewhere. I couldn't be chronically exhausted. This is where I find parents will not make a grown-up choice. They make a childish choice, because they say, I want to stay up because I need me time. And I get it. And this isn't necessarily childish, because you say like, oh, I want me time. I want to be untouched. I need to decompress. I need alone time. And I get that. You get all of that when you sleep. But it feels better to our brain, or whatever. It feels better to our brain, because it's not your body, if we watch a little Netflix. It feels better if we are on the couch eating a snack. That feels like it's me time, but that me time can be accomplished in sleep. And it's like hugely beneficial, because you are raring to go the next day. And again and again and again, I just hear parents fight this, nope. No, I need that time. And then I'm like, okay, but now you're shitty the next day. Losing sleep makes you hungrier. You tend to eat worse food. You tend to eat more often. It tends to make you lose your patience. Of course, you're on edge more. It cognitively hurts you so much. I don't even know, like when your kids are 0 to 2, I don't even know if parents should be driving, to be honest, because we're so underslept. Like I think probably it's worse than being drunk. It's like the amount of cognitive decline that happens with lack of sleep. But this is one of those places where you can't have both. You can't be well rested and stay up late. So what are you going to choose? What's going to benefit you the best? And to me, this is such a no-brainer. I can't believe people fight me on it, but that's up to you. But I understand, listen, it's going to get better. And you're going to have a teenager who sleeps 17 hours, and sleeps better than a newborn. Like, it's crazy that it goes away. But in these early years, this is that brutal self-care that I have always talked about. This isn't the lovely, luxurious self-care. This is brutal, and it's temporary. It's temporary. I want to assure you of that. Okay. Nutritious meals. Time and time again, I get parents asking me for solutions for eating in the car. Good, nutritious meals that their child can eat in the car. No. Eating in the car should be in a pinch, not in the 0 to 6 range. Okay. I understand as your child gets older, there will be activities, there will be things in which they have to have a snack in the car. I get that. A snack in the car isn't the worst thing, but we should be eating when we're sitting down. We should be setting the groundwork for that in the 0 to 6. So if you are regularly looking for nutritious options in the car, I really think it's time to look and say, okay, something's got to give. Okay. And the cooking every night is brutal. The cooking every night. So I don't know how people are doing this without. I have an Instant Pot. I have a pressure canner. I have a pressure cooker. I have a dehydrator. I can food. A crock pot. So these are all tools that can get hot meals made while you're not home. My crock pot, I would have died when Pascal was little. We didn't have the Instapot back then. We didn't have all this stuff. I would die without canning. Canning is the fastest way to make fast food. If you don't know how to can, I encourage you to try. There is, of course, a learning curve that's going to take more of your time, but it provides the best fast food ever. And when we get sick, I have stores of soups and stews that we can eat that are healthy. They retain a lot of the nutrition. So that's something to consider to take on. But definitely use your Instant Pot, use your crock pot so that you don't have to worry about a hot meal when you walk in the door. There are fabulous recipes out there, and that will eliminate a lot of your stress. I personally, I have always done I cook a bunch of proteins, I cook a bunch of starches. And when Pascal was little, I cooked a bunch of vegetables, and we could just reheat in any various combination. That is also something you can do. But if you have to cook every night, that is burning you out. So let's find solutions for that. Okay. And I think that's a need. Doctors, dentists, therapies, all your therapies. Yes, those are definite needs. You have to do those things. Evaluate though. I know a lot of people who have special needs who find that they started OT, they're not finding it very valuable. A lot of therapies for special needs, it takes a while to find the right match with your kid for the right services. And you may not have a choice about that. But, if you feel like you're spending money and time and it's not benefiting your child, I would definitely pull away from that. When we talk about therapies for kids, I have found over the years, I would really honestly, any child under 6, unless there has been extreme abuse, I don't think psychotherapy is necessarily the way to go for these kids. So if you are doing psychotherapy or behavioral therapy, I would literally kind of check in and see what's being accomplished, because this is a very young age to attempt cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavioral therapy. There is play therapy, but that is really designed for kids who have super traumatic events. This could be a waste of your time. And no offense to any behavioral therapists out there, but in my work, I have found them to be very pat solutions. I think like anything, like all therapists, there are bad ones out there and there are good ones. So they're very expensive. A lot of them aren't out of pocket. And so sometimes I think it's worth going with a parent coach. Whether it's me or somebody else is up to you. But I just don't find that psychotherapy, their kids are too young to actually kind of do something. Cognitive behavioral therapy can work with an older kid who's really struggling. But again, I think it can be covered in OT or other therapies. But that's definitely, those are needs, right? So I think that's something. Aging parents, depending on your relationship with your parents, this is definitely something that has to be managed. And this is, of course, depending on what you can do. But if you have aging parents and you're like, oh, fuck this, I can't, my mom's been toxic to me my whole life and now I got to wipe her ass. That's really challenging. So that might look at, you might have to take a hardcore look at, do your parents have savings? What do they have? What is their insurance? What gets covered? Can there be a CNA who comes in? It might be, making the decision for a nursing home or something like that, but it is a real problem. And it's really hard because most people live in mortal fear of going to a nursing home, with good reason. They're not going to get specialized care there necessarily. Again, nursing homes are hard to come by with really excellent care. But, try to look for a solution if that is draining you. And sometimes there is no solution. There was no solution for my mom. And it was very, very draining. But there were some boundaries that I had to set, that I couldn't be there, every day. But I do want to acknowledge that it's just such a thing, and to see if there are workarounds. Clothes, products, research, recalls. This is a huge problem. This is a huge time suck. I invite you to try to pare this down as much as possible. People get very, very obsessed. I know we live in a shit world right now. Our food system's a mess. our environment. Like there's a lot of things to consider, but if you wind yourself up about every decision and its environmental impact and its carbon footprint and it's this and is it made here? And, these kinds of things, I think you'll drive yourself crazy. And I actually have seen quite a few moms go tip over. I think when we're in a delicate place with mental health, which every fucking parent I know right now is, I think it's very easy to tip over into some crazy behaviors. And I find that this is one of them, like the health, being healthy, like going down the crunchy mom that gets really severe. And we know, like, there's even crunchy moms now who are saying, dude, I had to let some of it go. We cannot fight every fight. So I would encourage you to look at the big things. I would encourage you to, like, okay, don't use Shein. Right? We know it's got a high leg content. It's coming out of China. It's fast fashion. I would always look for, more durable fashion. Something like Hannah Anderson is pricier up front, but it lasts several seasons. The wear and tear is amazing. Those, higher quality products that will last seasons, last your other kids. I would look for those, but hit this with big stones. Don't get yourself wound up. Make sure your car seat's safe. That's the number one thing. But all the other things, don't get yourself in the weeds, not at this age. Safety is a top priority with a lot of products like cribs, car seats, those kinds of things. But oh my God, just the options available right now will drive you nuts. And sometimes the shit sandwich we have to eat is that we live in a consumerist society. We're doing the planet damage. And so what do you do? Like for me, honestly, my big hill that I'll die on is no bottled water. That's my big hill. Other than that, like, yeah, there's going to be times I can't recycle something. There's going to be times like I can't wind myself up about everything because it's, again, this modern times, we've got so much on our plates. So that's something to think about. Okay. Not counting emergencies. I think we have to factor in life. So I remember we were friends with, those of you who have followed me a long time, it was our good friends that we went through the pandemic with. They were our best friends, had 4 kids. We ended up divorcing. It was pretty hardcore, but, I remember they started getting farm animals and, we were homeschooling and we were doing all the things, and this mom loved her. We were doing 4-H. So there were lots of things to do within 4-H, and this mom kept kind of taking on more and more things. And then she was like, yeah, but you don't understand. There's like emergencies, like they had goats. Goats are escapee artists, and these goats would get out, and they'd have to go find their goats, or there'd be a chicken sick, or one of the sheep would go down. Like when you have livestock, there are farm emergencies. I have had emergencies with our chickens where I have to sit with a chicken for a couple of hours, right? They're more than just pets, which we'll get to. But I told, she was kind of tearing her hair out, like, you don't understand. And I was like, okay, but this is another shit sandwich. If you have livestock, you are now a farmer. You have to build in contingencies into your plan. If you have balls to the wall scheduling, you have to factor in the fact that you may have a farm emergency at any given moment, right? And so obviously we can't plan for these things, so we can't hold off life, but maybe get less livestock or don't have goats who are notorious escapees, right? These are the things where we want it all, and then we get totally burnt out because of the emergencies. If you are parenting a kid in the 0 to 6 range, you are going to be sicker than you have ever been in your life. Your child, especially if they go to daycare, is going to be sick a lot. And so it can't surprise you. And so again, we can't necessarily build in these contingencies, but we have to look and know that they're coming, because you're sitting down to the most challenging video game of your life, and it's going to be flying at you, and you're going to have to ping them as quick as they come. But things like this, emergencies factor into your job and how we look at careers for both parents. And I'll kind of circle back to that, because that's a bigger need, want, choice. Okay. Now we're going to look at the things that are not necessary. Okay. Not necessary. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll go back to, there are a few necessary things I forgot. Big play, free, unstructured time for your child. This is more than a need. I mean, more than a want. This is a need. Okay. So again, if your child is in all these other things and they get no free play, they get no unstructured time, this is the thing you have to do. Okay. Unstructured, big play, playgrounds, outside. This is a necessity, and we have to make room for that. Household management. Household management has to get done, but maybe not in the way you're thinking. So I want to circle back to that in a second. Pets. Obviously, I deal with a lot of clients who had pets, individual pets before they got married, brought 2 pets to the family. And so they're managing that. Pets are a version of a child in, they don't have the big feelings, but they can have behavioral problems if they're not attended to in the correct way. A lot of people make the mistake of having breeds that need a lot of exercise, and they don't get that. That's going to result in bad behavior. Pets require finances. Pets get hurt. Pets need surgeries. Pets need food, and they need love and attention. So that is something you're managing. If you have pets already that you brought into that were in the family before your child was born, I don't think those pets should be rehomed, obviously. But it is something to know. If you don't have pets and you think, okay, no, my kids need a dog. I grew up with a dog. It was awesome. Yeah, probably your mom wasn't dealing with the mental load you have. So pets are awesome. Think twice about bringing them into the family in this 0 to 6 years, okay? Because you're not getting any help from your kid. In fact, you might get some fighting with the kid and the dog or the cat or the whatever. You cannot guarantee the personality you're getting from a dog. So this is one more thing you're going to have to think about, one more thing that's going to need care when you're not home. So I love the vision, but what shit sandwich do you want to eat here? Because this is a tough one, okay? Now, wants. As a mom, I think we are wants and needs. I think we are told to sacrifice ourselves. So moms working out, alone time and friends, I think are vital. But I think that's a place where we have to have some wiggle room. And for example, my friend who unloaded on me has to work out at 5 a.m. because she cannot handle a workout on her own. So she has to go to group classes so that she's led the whole class. Like it's a place where she is free to not think. And I get that as a mom. But there are certain days that you can't get to the gym. There are certain days that, a gym requires travel time. Travel time eats into your schedule, period. Whether it's not crowded, not trafficy, whatever, it's still travel time. There's getting ready. There's workout clothes to be managed, right? Washed, whatever. Then there's showering. So that's a wonderful thing, but that has to have some wiggle room. That's why I tell you guys, buy dumbbells for your house. Like the amount of times I have to wake up and go, holy shit, I can't do exactly what I want today. All right, I just have to do a quick dumbbell exercise. So you want like a contingency there, right? Alone time. Alone time is great. If you can sit and read a book, oh my God, I love that for you. That is awesome. You may not get that. Can you get 10 minutes? 10 minutes of a great fiction book that recharges me. Friends. Obviously, this is why friends, moms need moms. At this age, a lot of your friends have to be mom friends with other kids, right? Because you have to kind of kill a few birds with the stones. I want you to have friends and I want you to go out for girlfriend nights. I really do. I think men and women need to do something outside of the home with just their friends. However, again, that has to have the wiggle room. You have to have friends who understand if you need to cancel, you shouldn't cancel all the time. And the time you go out with your friends, you have to be cautious. Those times can't be necessarily an expensive dinner or drinking a bottle of wine. Alcohol sucks, man. Sucks. Alcohol in the early years really sucks because you can't afford to get behind your 8 ball at all. It will make you more tired, more anxious, more hungry. The next day you will have no patience. So just know that you deserve the time with your friends, but I would highly encourage you to not add alcohol to the mix. But those things, again, I think they're necessary, but I think there's a little more wiggle room for those things. The absolute unnecessary things. I am going to pull for this so hard. Oh my God, you guys, this podcast is going to be long, but I think it's okay because I have to get through this. Okay. Birthday parties. Birthday parties, both giving them and going them. We need to stop. We need to collectively stop. Okay. And I think it's wonderful if you're a Pinterest mom, you love a themed birthday party and you have time and that fills your cup. Awesome. Go for it. But recognize it's going to be another thing on your plate. This is more shopping. This is more choosing. This is more decisions. This is more invites. This is more following up with RSVPs because we've become a culture that doesn't RSVP. There's so much stress about that. all of these things that adds so much to your plate. Is it once a year? Yeah, but 0 to 6, you don't have to do it. Invite a couple of cousins, invite your family, the cake, the presents. That's all your kid needs and wants. They don't even need that, to be honest. It's a want, but scale that way down. Do not attend every birthday party. I have parents who cannot potty train because they have 4 birthday parties every day of every weekend. Oh my God, for a 4-year-old, that is too much. You can say no, be gracious. If you want to send a present, you can, but you don't have to. Just don't do it. Say no to more birthday parties. Your child is not going to miss anything. They don't need it. And it's high pressure for you. It's more driving. It's more buying. It's more considerations. It's more managing time. There's such a waste of time. Don't do it. Feel free to say no. Okay. And my kid, I don't want my kid to miss out. That's you. That's you projecting on your kid. Your under 6-year-old does not care. Okay. And maybe they're best friends. They do. But honestly, guys, this is an area that has got to go. Also, when you're throwing a birthday party, just reduce it. Reduce everything. When did themes start? Oh my God, stop. It can be so easy. So that's the big, sports. Okay. Sports, activities, enrichment. I'm taking a really firm stance on this now. And literally, it was so funny because recording this podcast many, many times, my phone must be listening, but I keep seeing these Instagram reels on T-ball and like watching kids play soccer or T-ball in the under 6 crowd. It is for you. Okay. It is for you. It is not for your child. I am so against it. More and more I get against organized sports for the under 6 crowd. Even if you have a kid, let's look at the kid who really wants it, really is begging you, has been tossing around a soccer ball since they were in a crib. You have some kid with almost prodigy behavior. I had one. My kid could hit a baseball regularly, thrown at him with a bat at 2 years old. He loved baseball. He could follow by 3 years old. He had baseball cards. He knew stats. It was like prodigy behavior. Couldn't wait for T-ball. I ended up having to take him out of T-ball because he was too aggressive. He literally was focused, but nobody else on the team was. So he was being mean to the other kids. He was like, this is first base. He was like walking kids. He was like yelling at kids. He was trying to coach them. I was like, okay, this isn't working. So I had to take him out. He had to go wait till he was in Little League, and we still could go to the park and play baseball. Like I could throw him the ball, right? But he wasn't fit for T-ball. So even if you have that kid, I don't think the sports aren't for the kids under 6. If most kids are not that kid, most kids, you sign them up because they might have had an interest. You might ask them and they say yes, but they don't know what's entailed. Okay. As a coach, I have coached T-ball. I have coached minor league, little leagues, and I have coached major league. Okay. Kids are not ready for organized sports. Look, and so I go back to these Instagram reels. They are all over the place. They can't track where first base is. They all go after the ball at the same time. You've got one doing cartwheels in the background. You've got one doing, somersaults. You've got third baseman kicking dirt around. The amount of times you will say, don't kick the dirt is like ridiculous. Okay. They look cute. Yes, but that's a uniform you have to buy, a uniform you have to work. You still have to get washed. You have to get in your car. You have to make time. Somebody's got to do it. It is unnecessary and it is a stressor. And usually, you know what, when I coach T-ball, you know how many kids we assign to a team? Usually 20, because they all show up on the first day and then one by one they fade off because the kid starts throwing a fit. Most places luckily don't charge you too much, but don't do it, guys. You are so much better spending that time on the playground. If your kid wants to play something, get a couple of neighborhood kids and go to the playground together and play baseball. It is such a burden on you. And I rage against this. I could do a whole nother podcast just on this app, right? Sports are going to hit you. I don't know when we all became sporty spice. I don't know when it was that every kid has to play a sport. Yes, I know there are inherent values, but those inherent values, your kid's not getting. They're not getting in under 6. Okay. The body awareness, it's not happening. Any place where your kid has to be coached and there's one coach and 6 to 8 players, it's not like taking a class with, like, it's not happening. They can't literally go through and teach body awareness to every kid. Okay. So it's just a place where I think we can alleviate a lot of stress. Your under 6-year-old does not need enrichment. They don't need language classes unless you are bilingual or you're moving to some place where they really need this. They don't need this. I just worked with a 3-year-old okay, family of a 3-year-old struggling with poop withholding. And I was like, I need a few days at home. They were like, nope, she had 2 formal classes every single day. I think she wasn't even 3. That is insane. Okay. They don't need that yet. They're not ready for that. Okay. And let me tell you something, especially for working parents, if you guys have to, your time is premium with your child. So they've been in daycare or preschool all day. That's okay, but they've been directed by people. They've had activities. They've socialized with other kids. They don't need play dates after daycare. They don't need enrichment. That's being taken care of at daycare. Yeah. Like that's one of the bonuses. So now your time has to be connection time. Okay. It has to be big free play where they can play by themselves, where they connect with you, where they can do roughhousing. That's the time for you guys. And stay at home moms, or stay at home dads, you may have more time during the day to do a structured thing. And it may be beneficial to you because like you need a break. So that's a different thing, right? But I still would argue that at the big clusterfuck that everybody struggles with is when everybody gathers again at like 6, 5:30, around when, parents are both home or single parent comes home and the kid's been at daycare, or the kid's been, with a parent staying at home, but that parent's stressed out. That's the moment. That's a moment of high connection. Okay. That's the time that you can connect with your kids through doing the household tasks. Now we're killing so many birds with one stone. You're connecting with your child by cooking dinner with them or doing laundry. Your child's learning they're part of a family. They're doing the chores, and you're taking care of business. So this is what we've got to do. We've got to kill as many birds with one stone. And I think any activities, especially after 3 p.m., are things that are going to just fuck you. They're going to fuck you and your family life. And again, let's look at like what this could potentially look like. Imagine you come home from work. So anybody I work with has high pressure jobs. Okay. It's not a job they can just leave and come home. They have a lot on their plate. You immediately have to switch gears. And this can happen if there's a stay-at-home parent as well. So we'll call it the gathering time. Whenever everybody finally is home, everybody needs a break, okay? Because the parent who worked outside the home needs to switch gears. The parent who stayed at home is freaking exhausted, okay? And overstimulated. So what do? We connect. So imagine instead of, we got home and everything's got to get done. Imagine if the very first thing were, let's eat. I think kids need to eat a lot earlier than we're feeding them. And you have something already prepared in the Instant Pot or the crock pot, or you have stuff prepared that you only have to heat up. That is done. Or imagine you go to the kitchen with your kid and you're catching up and you sit them on the counter. They're having a little piece of apple or something while you're cooking dinner and you're talking and they may be helping you. It's going to take a little longer, but you're connecting. Hey, help me stir the pot. Oh, that's too hot for you right now. Go, you can help me set the table. Imagine that. Imagine that you all gather and the first thing you do is create a fort and watch a quick program. And everybody breathes a sigh of relief. Everybody's like, okay, you mom and dad, you get a minute to chill the fuck out. You can like decompress a little. What you're all watching, I don't care what you watch. Swiss Family Robinson, Mr. Rogers, I don't care. But you all get a breather or whatever that looks like for you. Everybody collapses. I think that's what has to happen at the gathering time. Instead, we get home, we put things down and we go. And then the children are put on a wheel that starts spinning, right? Imagine that. Now after dinner, everybody eats. Hopefully it went well. Everybody cleans up, or maybe one parent now takes over bath. Okay. Or you all do a family chore together. Maybe dad takes one kid, you take another kid and you do laundry. Okay, we got to do laundry. Your kid's going to love helping if you're doing it together. Now you've taken care of laundry so that you don't have to do this when they're asleep. So don't back everything up. Everybody's doing activities with their kids. And then the kid goes to bed and you're like, I still got to do laundry and clean up the house. No, do that with your kid. That's connection time. That's slowing down. Okay. Now you and your spouse are also having good moments because there's a division of labor, right? And then maybe you guys, after the kids go to bed, you guys do a quick check-in. I think you should be checking in with your spouse every night. How are you? How was your day? What were your roses? What were your thorns? Can I help you with anything? Do you need to vent about anything? Do you need solutions for anything? I think these should become routine because parents are getting separated, doing their own thing with each kid and then crashing. And you got to stay on top of it. You got to stay on helping each other, being on the same team. And you can go through this list with your spouse. You should all be having not just a date night where you go out and have nice dinner, but real regular meetings. The best marriages I have worked with throughout the years are people who meet regularly and go over things. And what can we go over this list? What can we take off the plate? What can we do together? What can we work with the kids? How can we get our fucking weekends back? I want to bring back the puttering weekend. This is the joy of my entire life is I have puttering weekends. Everything gets done, but I go slow and it's easy like Sunday morning. Sunday mornings are now not easy at all. So this is a great list to sit down with and say, okay, let's go through what can we take off our plates. Okay. And that is getting rid of a lot of the organized activities. They don't need it at this age. It can be detrimental at this age and it can hurt the family. It's one more thing you have to think, manage, drive to, and it's a time suck. And sports are ruining our families. Once your kid hits like 10, it's unbelievably competitive. Now you have to deal with sports parents. It's travel. I don't know what happened. There are other ways to do team activities. I just want to put that out without doing these intensive sports. And now I want to really say a bit about these larger needs versus wants and shit sandwiches. And these are lifestyle. We have been tricked, a lot of us, without even realizing it, to keep up with the Joneses. Depending on where you live, this might be more. But we have to take hardcore looks at this. And one thing I learned in the homeschool community is that a lot of people make bigger choices and sacrifices and bigger shit sandwiches because they want to go down to one income. This may or may not be feasible for you in your area, but I do want to bring a couple of really big choices that people tend to think they're absolutely stuck in or that they have to have. And these are vehicles and houses. And I know that areas count for a lot of people because of school districts, but it's something to consider because the housing market hasn't gone anywhere. Houses are very expensive, but we have also been tricked into thinking we need more than we actually do. I know a lot of people buy bigger vehicles because of they want to keep kids from fighting. They want to like literally physically separate the kids. If you have more than one child, you're going to be dealing with sibling rivalry no matter where your kids are located. Okay. But I know, okay, so I'll talk really quick. I have a niece who, she, has a really big car. She has like a Denali and I was like, oh, fancy car. And she said, yeah, but even though they're all separated, they still argue. And I just laughed. And I was like, did you think a bigger car was going to solve that? And I know we do more things now, like you might be toting more stuff. And Denali's are really expensive. Do you need that car? No, you really don't. Do you want it? Yeah. Do you deserve it because you work hard? I don't know. I don't know. That's up to you. But again, it's money and it's upkeep and it is a thing that can drain you. And so when we're looking at finances, I hear a lot of people express, we have to have a two income family. And I say, okay, and I'm not pushing that one person has to stay home, right? Like maybe you both really just want careers and that's okay. But I do find that most parents are like, no, I can't, this is not a thing for me. I'll lose my spot in my career path, and it does. And I'm not saying the burden is on the mom because I work a large amount of stay-at-home dads. So it may be whoever's the higher earner, right? But it's something to think about if your job is just burying you into the ground and not allowing you to parent or not allowing you to take sick time, right? So because your kids get sick. So there's a lot of factors that go into this. And these are just something to consider is like, do you need the expensive car? Do you need a house as big as you have? Because a large house, one thing I learned, I moved from San Francisco to Providence and I had a 2,800 square foot flat and it was too big for me in Pascal. And you have to fill, like who sits around and has an empty room? right? You have to fill that with more stuff. That's more stuff to clean. When we moved to the woods, I have a 600 square foot house. Dude, the amount of time spent on cleaning that is so drastically reduced. It's also, I just have less stuff to clean up. Everything's got its place. We make stronger choices. We try to fix things, like and we don't have a basement. We don't have an attic. So what's great is we can't just, we have to deal with things, right? A broken toy, a broken thing has to be dealt with, or it has to go in it has to go in the trash, mended. We have to deal with it. We don't put it into a garage, a basement, an attic. That creates more clutter for yourself, more things to do, more things on your to-do list. So I do want you to, and it's something to consider. And again, I'm not judging anybody. You can decide what you want, but I will tell a story. I have a really good friend who, they had a house, and it needed a severe remodeling. Now, number one, I thought this was this same family that the dad was doing all the work, and the mom was like, "Dude, you got to go. Why don't you go out with your friends?" And he looked at her and he said, "Friends? What friends do I have? I'm working on the house. I parent the kids. I try to spend time with you. I don't have friends. This is it." So I thought, number one, that was telling about dad burnout. But then what happened is they went to put insulation in their house, and it was the spray foam, and it ended up being super toxic. They all got really, really sick. They were embroiled in a lawsuit for years. But they had an artist studio out back. It was 450 square feet, an artist loft. Okay, like a little shed, basically. All 6 of them moved into that house, 4 kids. They ended up staying there and knocking down their house because everything they needed was in that house, and they found a different way to live. And I know that proximity is scary to us because it feels like you're on top of each other, but you find a different way of being. And I know this, it's a very similar concept to homeschooling. Like, people tell me they don't want to homeschool because they fight or they can't be with their kids all day. And I'm like, when you're with your kid all day, longer term, you just find a different way of being. My house is tiny, but I can tell you right now, one of the beauties is Pascal has never done that, go up to his room. He's never isolated. We're in a tighter relationship because of proximity. So there's something to be said about that. And it could be rocky at first, but you will find a new way of existing. And I think this is part of that village living. There's much more of a communal feel. The bigger your house, the more separated you are, the easier it is to isolate. And that may seem good in some years, but it's something to consider. Can you downsize? Can you downsize your vehicle? Can you downsize your finances in ways? There are various ways to do this. And again, I'm not saying you have to, and I'm not saying, you don't work hard and deserve everything you have, but I do find people trapping themselves financially and thinking they have no choice. Again, the friend who verbally vomited, they live in it's not gated, but it's a cul-de-sac and very high standard. She wants what she wants, and she remodeled her kitchen for an exorbitant amount of money, and they have a pool and a hot tub, and there's a lot that provides for her, but also she is like, no, I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this. The upkeep, the finances, that's all part of what's driving us crazy. So again, no judgment, no telling you how to live your life, but these are all things to consider, because the biggest factor is I cannot give you more time. I can't do that. So these are things you have to go through with your spouse and think, what do I really need in this 0 to 6 years? And again, remember, you still got another full 6 years where your kid has body awareness. They can do the activities. They can do the enrichment. That's going to happen. Okay. How can you make things cozy? And I've worked with so many families who do this. That's it. I'm not cutting I'm cutting all the activities. And they have expressed this is such a game changer. Everybody's more agreeable. They have this slow life, this cozy life that we all envision, but then we all screw ourselves by piling more stuff on. And I invite you to actually make these grown-up decisions, which are hard. There's compromises. There's always going to be a compromise. But if you concentrate on those basics, on sleep, good, nutritious food, connection, family, love, that as your basis, that's going to take you a lot farther. The dividends are going to be huge. So, again, I'm sorry. This actually is the longest version of the podcast that I recorded, but I really wanted to go through this whole list and bring this point home that the biggest thing I'm seeing societally is we I can't help but think it feels very childish to me, which is this, like, I want everything. No, I need to do all of this stuff, but then you don't have any time left in the day. And again, guys, I'm not exaggerating. This is killing us. I got moms crying, hanging on by a thread, exhausted, hanging on by a thread. We're really doing ourselves such a disservice. We're screwing up our mental health. We are giving ourselves anxiety and depression, and we are in more control than we think. And the downstream effect is better behavior, softer living, more cooperation. The vision I think you had originally when you wanted to start a family and have family life, that vision, how congruent is that vision with what's happening in your life? Because that vision is available to you, even in modern times, but we've just got to make harder decisions. Okay. All right. As always, I love you guys. Thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for listening in general. We're talking about burnout and time, and you guys giving me your time, like listening to me. I really appreciate that. And I know, like, it's such an honor that I get to be in your ear because I know you're busy. Yeah, I know you're busy. All right, guys, rock on. Have a beautiful day. I'm going to cut this short now because I've talked forever. Bye. Okay, bye, everyone. Just a reminder, if you need additional resources, I have Oh Crap Potty Training. I have Oh Crap, I Have a Toddler. Those books are available everywhere you want to find a book. You can also go to my website, jamieglowacki.com, where you can book private sessions with me, buy any of my courses. Those are really geared towards potty training help. And also I'm on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook anymore, and I'm not on Twitter. I'm on Instagram, jamie.glowacki, and I do a lot of lives and usually posting a lot of good information. So those are extra resources for you. And as always, rock on. Have an awesome day.